Next team is team number 1, Hively. Should be on the desktop. Okay, team number 1, Hively.
Hi everybody, we're Team Hively, and as Professor Pisano mentioned earlier, we're all named Winston. So a lot of the time people ask us, what engineers have to do with bees? Why do you care about bees? They're so small, they hurt when they sting you. Why do you want to work with them? So I'd encourage you to look at this picture of a supermarket with all kinds of nice healthy produce. And I look at this supermarket. This is a supermarket in a world without bees. U.S. agriculture is almost entirely dependent on bees and their pollinating abilities, yet they face so many mundane threats like mold, mites, even extreme temperature swings. And so throughout the years, beekeepers have developed a lot of ways to check the hives for threats, but they all involve going into the hive, looking at the bees, interacting with the hive, and that's where Hively comes in. Our customers, Michael and Patricia Ruane, have some hobby hives at their home in Shandaken, New York. And our project aims to enable beekeepers to check in on the hives without even being on the property in the same state in the country. We've given them a system that embeds sensors in the hive and then uploads the data from those sensors to the cloud so that they can check out the data anywhere where they have internet. So sort of a technical overview of the system. We've got a CC3200 chip controlling some temperature and humidity sensors in the hive. It uses Wi-Fi to upload the data to an AWS EC2 server where we process it on a website.
So I'm Dimitrios, not Winston, and I was responsible for building. I was the hardware leader, and I was responsible for building the sensor arrays. And you can actually see a picture of the sensor arrays, like the 3 stripes that go down is what we built. And we focused on making something that's very user-friendly, very easy for the beekeeper to actually remove it from the hive, check the condition of the hive, and put it back in. So we equipped these sensor arrays with temperature and humidity sensors. Each hive has 60 temperature sensors and 4 humidity sensors, so that's a lot of sensors. And we also, because we care a lot about the actual condition of the product and having a robust product, we are covering with a special plastic, which is non-insulating plastic, the sensor arrays, which protects the sensor arrays from propolis, wax, and honey that's all over the hive. The second part of my responsibilities was to design the power system. So we have a 100% solar power system that's completely autonomous, which is powered by a 12-volt battery. And I actually pick the components, so we have like low power components, which means like low power temperature sensors and humidity sensors and low power microcontroller, in order to have a system that can run like for a long time without needing to recharge the battery, which leads to kind of impressive battery life. Like we can have a 3-week run over products that function over product with like complete darkness in a dark room.
So I did the embedded software. Like was mentioned before, we utilized the CC3200. We chose this microcontroller because it's pretty bare bones, pretty cheap, except that it has a lot of capabilities when it comes to Wi-Fi, which is very important for our product because we need to connect over a Wi-Fi network. There's no Ethernet. It also has very powerful low power modes. When in hibernation mode, which is the mode we utilize, it only runs on about 4 microamps of current. So this is also the component that controls all the sensors, gathers the readings, and sends it to the AWS server. Controls the microcontroller controls the sensors through GPIO, reads them through ADC, and sends the readings through HTTP posting.
Yeah, so for our web backend, the server, fast and scalable was the name of the game. we were kind of looking into a future where maybe not just hobbyists, but professional bee farmers would want to deploy these to thousands of hives. So we chose Python and Flask as our web framework for easy deployment, AWS for scalability, bar none, and an Apache server, pretty standard.
So our website is mobile first, thanks to something called Twitter Bootstrap. This page that we're showing right now is the dashboard. It's for quick data analysis of the overview of all the data we collected. We use D3.js to create all the graphs, and we use jQuery and normal JavaScript for all the UI controls. And then we also have a sensor page for tabulated data, and which is just a shortcut for Phil's part.
Yeah, just to clarify again, I'm Phil. I took the lead in the data visualization part of our product. And here we have our first data model, which is a graph. It allows the user to graph up to 6 sensors throughout a time period. And it also provides a baseline local temperature. In our example, it would be Shandaken, New York. This allows the user to compare fluctuations in the hive temperature to fluctuations in the outside temperature. And usually the user would use this to spot trends over time. And this is the second data model that we have. We have the heat map. It's a 2D representation of the heat dispersion within a frame. It incorporates the 6 sensors that are embedded within the frame, as well as the outside temperature measurement. And it provides the user with a quick and easy to understand view of the hive. And now we have our video.
I must serve my bees. Oh no, my bees!
That was unfortunate. With Hively, you'll never have to deal with problems like that again. Our state-of-the-art system allows you to check on your hives anytime, anywhere in the world, from any browser, mobile or desktop. Autonomous data collection ensures that stats are always up to date, and our multiple visualization options let you compare measurements against each other and through time. We even have a heat map to help you locate bees within the hive and get a sense for their general well-being. Now remember, be safe, be smart, Beehive.
So we weren't able to actually install the system at Professor Wayne's house in Shandaken, New York, but he did come to the lab, inspect the system in its working state, and he was very happy with the current state of it and its functionality. For the future of Hively, beekeeping is definitely a trend that's becoming a little more popular, especially with like a lot of the attention being paid to colony collapse disorder, which you probably hear a lot about in the news. Beekeeping, both as an industry and as a hobby, is on the rise. And due to that increased market, we think that in the future, if we choose to pursue it, Hively really could make a decent impact in that environment. Thank you very much.
So do you have to monitor each frame independently? How is the sensor set up? How many per frame and how many frames in the box?
Sure. So there are 64 frames per hive, and there are 64 sensors per hive. There are 6 temperature sensors per frame, and there are 5 arrays within a single box. So to select between these, we have on each frame a multiplexer, and then a secondary multiplexer controlling each frame. Then we use the GPIOs to send the select signals, which reroutes through those multiplexers.
So 64 per box.
Yeah. So there's 2 boxes per hive. So in a single box, you'll have 32 sensors.
And so what's the cost of one sensor for that?
For the temperature sensor, it was around 80 cents, and for the humidity it was around $3. But we have 30 temperature sensors per box and just 2 humidity sensors. So it's just the cost depends really on the temperature sensors.
And the more that we mass produce our product, the cheaper it's going to be for each sensor. Yeah.
Economy of scale.
For that heat map data, was that modeled on thermal signatures of actual bees, or what was that actually
So
modeled
it's
on?
the heat map is generated from the 6 temperature sensors embedded in the frame, as well as the outside temperatures of the local area temperature, and the entire heat map is interpolated from that data that we
So it was
collect.
tested on a real beehive?
Yeah, it was
Real
the sensors were embedded
was-
on the hive.
He's asking. We didn't test on actual bees since all the bees were in
Yeah, we
hibernation
don't-
for the winter.
Yeah, we don't have actual bees, but
Yeah, no one would give us access to their hive because no one wants to open it in the winter because it could be like really hard.
yeah, right now
I'm
they're in
just curious,
hibernation.
like, how high is the actual heat signature of a bee? I don't know, like.
Also,
is
like
that
the
your
general
sensor
range of
enough?
temperature within a hive is around 80 to 95 degrees. So we took into account, I guess, temperatures in the New England. So our system ranges from 10 degrees to 120 degrees.
Does the system do any push notifications to say like your bees are dying, or do you have to check? You have to monitor the applications themselves.
They have to monitor it on the web. We didn't really consider too much the push notification just because the website does work on mobile. And they don't even have cell service at their home, so most of the time when they're going to be checking this, they're going to be doing it from a computer.
Do you have any plans of adding, so a lot of the sensors are kind of not really specific to bees. Are there any plans to add sensors that are a little more specific to bees? I don't know. Is there such thing as ambient glucose level or something like that?
So the main indicator we've interviewed like a bunch of beekeepers, and the main indicator of the health and status of your hive and bees are humidity and temperature sensors. Humidity and temperature. So that's the reason why we chose humidity and temperature.
If anything were to be added, it could be beekeepers are interested in this dance that the bees do outside the hive in the evening before they go back into it. So if anything, we might add a live feed of your bee dance in the evening.
Is it already determined honey yield based on this input?
Not that we know of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean there might be a correlation between like I don't know, like the health of the hive, which you can determine through the system, and maybe honey production, but we're not aware of it.
So that's what our product is trying to solve. Kind of gap the bridge between allow users to see the trends between the health of the hive and the honey production. Yeah.
Are there other current products on the market, and if there are, how is this different and better?
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot of competitors, except one thing that we do that's the most unique is that all of our sensors are embedded in the system. What other competitors have is all their sensors are outside. Like they have it underneath the boxes, which isn't as accurate as ours. So that's like the main difference between our product and theirs.
Thanks. You considered how bees would react to foreign objects in the hive? Because I know whenever there's a foreign object placed inside a hive, the bees will coat it in something called propolis, which is like a sticky stuff. So how would you deal with that happening to your electronics?
So that's why we added the plastic. On the sensor frames, we have a plastic coating, which is also non-insulating plastic, so the temperature can transfer to the sensors. And this is it's very easy to basically scrap the propolis out of it.
All right, thank you.